Wacka wacka, point deductions, who gives up? The Reds are staying up. But is it too soon? Welcome to my review on Forest 3, Fulham 1. Good morning, good evening, or good night. Hope you guys are doing well, and welcome to the latest video, which is going to be my review on the performance for me. And I don't care if you lot think I'm going over the top, but that was the best performance we have had since we've been back in the Premier League. At least grant me that the first half was the best performance, because it really was. If you're enjoying the content, if you're still on Cloud9, hit that like button. Let's get 500 likes on this video. We're all in a good mood, surely. Hit that like button, subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you are new, and join me as we prepare. Now, I'm not saying we're on the beach, but we're getting closer. We're getting closer. Forest need 2 wins and a draw for me, and it's beach party time. And what better way to prepare than with the Hawaiian shirt, which you can get from Foco. The link's pinned in the comments. Use code FFTV15 for not just 10% off, but now 15% off. So go get that now. Okay, I mean, I'm just like, it's still, like, let me show you the clock here. It's 1:15 in the morning. I'm not getting to sleep, so I thought, why not do a video and just talk you through my thoughts on that game and how moods change based on performances. I went into that game, as I said to you guys, for me, it was down to the players to prove to me that they cared, that they wanted it, that they felt what we felt week in, week out, with all those painful results that we've been having. Let me take these sunglasses off. I can't see it. I'm still in a happy mood though. And that, for me, that first half performance, to a man, was out of this world. You had Callum Hudson-Odoi just going from strength to strength. Danilo was my man of the match. I know Morgan Gibbs-White got all the accolades, and rightly so. But if you single out how Danilo performed compared to how he's been performing this season, very inconsistent. But the mature performance he put together yesterday, for me, was what I want to see. And he's put himself forward now to take that vacant number 6 performance, because I felt he marshalled in front of the back 4 with just pure maturity. That's my word for Danilo on this one. But the one I want to start with is Matt Sells, because we have spent, and not just this channel, but I'm sure every Forest channel and every WhatsApp group and every time you're speaking with your mates throughout the first 6 months of the season, how many times did we have to talk about the likes of Matt Sells, Blackademus, goalkeeper mistakes, this issue, that issue? And with Matt Sells, there's been maybe one little thing you could talk about, nothing too much at all, here and there. And for me, he's just been exactly what we need. And the impact of that is the calming nature he has on those in front of him. Whenever, and I'm not picking on Matt Turner here, it's just because the mistakes were under him. But you would see, whenever the ball would go back to Matt Turner, he would be panicky. The defense in front of him would be panicky. And with Sells, it's the complete opposite. If the ball's passed out, if he needs to hoof it, he hoofs it. And he's got meat on that kick. If he needs to find a pass, he does. And when he needs to pull out those big saves, he does that as well. And I would say his performance against Palace was more important, those 2 huge saves he made against Eze. But yesterday, because I don't notice him, that's what I want from my keeper. And while the rest of the outfield players, we're going to talk about them and we're going to give them their flowers, but we have to start with Matt Sells and what a difference he is. For me, there's an argument to say he's been the signing of the season. In comparison, I'm not saying he's the best player we've bought, but in terms of the calmness and what we needed at the time, he has brought that. And on top of that, he's just settled right in. Hopefully I'm not jinxing him. Don't you guys start in the comments down below. But do you agree with what I'm saying on Matt Sells? Let me know. All right, let's move on to the second person we need to talk about. We could talk about all of them, but I'm going to pick some highlight players that need discussing. And that for me is Morgan Gibbs-White and Forza Garibaldi, because the display, look, the one we did against Palace looked nice. I liked it. But I don't know if it was inspiring to the players. But what they did yesterday with the Morgan Gibbs-White display, you got to give them a massive shout out. There was a moment just before the match where Morgan Gibbs-White was just staring at it and kind of, you felt he verbally nodded to it saying, okay, you guys need me. I've acknowledged it. I am going to give you a performance that you guys will not forget. And in that first half, he ran the show. I'm telling you now, man, if you had the likes of Saka or Odegaard or who else, what's his name at Spurs, Darts Boy, Maddison, or any of these number 10s that are around in the Premier League that are fashionable, had they produced the performance that he did, especially in that first half, it'd be on Sky News on loop right now. They'd be showing all his highlights reel and everything like that. But we don't need them. We have us, and we will give him the credit he deserves for it. I'll be honest with you, that performance has probably chucked another 10 million onto his asking price. There is a chance he goes in the summer, but that's for a discussion further on down the road. And this whole debate of Morgan Gibbs-White in the 8 or 10 that we've been having all week, my honest answer is, and my decision on it is, just put him on the pitch. I think you could put him in goal and he'd do a damn good job. But what a performance from him. And that set the tone. For me, that set the tone. The third goal was my favourite goal. The way him and Danilo just 1-2'd it up the pitch. And then his finish was composed. Yes, his corners were still crap. I don't know what it's going to take for corners and Morgan Gibbs-White to be put apart. But the performance, if we ignore that, that was almost a captain's and leader's performance. And that's what we need in this run-in. Look, you know, I've got the Hawaiian shirt on and what have you. But I'm not under no illusions that the task isn't even half done. We've got Spurs coming up next. Another home game at Wolves. But this game today, it just felt like the vibes were back. I thought the atmosphere at the City Ground was scintillating. I thought the players fed onto that well. It's starting to feel to me like the run-in of last year. I may be getting ahead of myself, but I didn't feel that against Crystal Palace. I definitely felt that tonight. And I can tell you as well, the players have felt it. The players celebrated that one for a long time after the match. I got to see a snippet of the celebrations and it just put a smile on my face. And on top of that, Marinakis. Let's not forget Marinakis, who lives and breathes the pain and the suffering and the ups and the downs that we do. He was in there. They were celebrating with our owner. You tell me how many owners are like him, going into dressing rooms, celebrating, being part of the atmosphere, feeling it. And that's why I love him so much. And this is why, well, we'll see what happens against Spurs. Spurs is going to be a tough match. But come Wolves, I want that same atmosphere, that same vibe coming to the City Ground. I don't care now about performances. Points are more important. We really have to get them on the board. But to get a performance, goals and the points, these are things that we've been starved of in the Premier League since Forest have been back. And seeing that all in one 90-minute spell, or 107 minutes, whatever it was, it makes it more satisfying. In a weird way it does, because you don't get these moments often enough. It's a bit like, how can I explain it? Like, for years I was at Forest game in, game out, and you just get used to it. And then now doing the watch-alongs and things like that, it's a lot rarer when I go to the City Ground to watch a match. But those matches now feel more special because you were used to, game in, game out. And now you really, really do hang on to the memories. And that's what this 3 points feels like. I know it's Fulham. I know we didn't win the World Cup. Jimmy's probably there in the background watching this video thinking, screw you, but you know he wants to be in our position. But my point here is, let's savor this moment. Let's enjoy it. We've got a couple of days before we got to start stressing about Spurs. And you all know how I feel about Spurs with my brother. That's going to be war. But finally, for what feels like an eternity, there's just that pressure release valve, just a little bit. And for me, that's exactly what I needed. I don't know how you guys feel. Do you agree with me or not? Let me know in the comments down below. Okay, so, we can carry on bigging up everything, but we've also got to look at improvements. And the one that still stands out like a sore thumb, and this isn't me being negative, this is me being objectively critical of what we saw, is still we conceded yet another set piece goal. And every time we got a corner, if you haven't seen the highlights of the watch along, go check them out after this. I'll leave them on the end screen for you. But they just feel like penalties at the moment. They really do. And I feel that feeling we have about corners against us has filtered down into the players, and that they feel it as well. And oh my God, here we go, another corner. Now, if you're going to concede a corner, do it at 3-0. Absolutely. Better than doing it at 0-0 or 1-0 up or whatever it is. But it's still a problem, and it's an issue that needs to be addressed by Nuno. Now, you could argue having Wood back there. I thought he made some great defensive headers. Also, maybe Bolly being fit would be good in that defense. But that takes away from Omar Bamadeli, which is the other player I want to talk about. We've waxed lyrical about Murillo all season long, and we could do it on this video and on his performance yesterday. But Omar Bamadeli for me is an unsung hero, a player going under the radar because of Murillo, and rightly so for Murillo's performances. But Omar Bamadeli comes in and out of that team seamlessly. But what we've understood today is who is in the running and who isn't. For me, Felipe, I love him, but he's announced retirement. He's done. He's done. Unfortunately, he's done. But the future has to be Omar Bamadeli and Murillo. And can we keep that partnership for next year? I honestly believe Forest have to do whatever they can to keep Murillo in the team. Even if that's sacrificing a couple of fringe players to get our PSR sorted. Because Murillo now is probably worth 40 to 50 million pounds. In another year's time, another 12 months in the Premier League, getting better and better, he has to be worth 70 to 80 million. And before I hear you lot saying 80 million, where are you getting that from? Harry Maguire, how much did he cost Man United? Fofana from Leicester to Chelsea, another 70, 80 million. I will say this now, Murillo is already a better player than they were when they were sold. And that was in the market a couple of years ago. So Forest have to do what they can to hold on to Murillo. And the thought of him and Omar Bamadeli partnering next year, both young, hopefully stay fit. Honestly, if we can just get over this line this season, I really firmly believe Forest are going to raise some eyebrows next year in the Premier League. Yes, I'm high on my happy clapper juice right now. Yes, it's the middle of the night and I've got work at 9 a.m. But I don't care, because this feeling is something you want to hold on to because of how much it means to get those 3 points. Now, Everton got a late goal. That got them a point. We were level on points with them. It's all down to what happens with Luton and Arsenal now. If it goes according to the form table, ideally what we need is Arsenal to put 5 or 6 past them to really give us that virtual point, as I call it, of goal difference on top of them to stretch our lead to basically 4. So we will have a watch along for that tonight for you guys. But before we do, we will have Grumpy Old Reds kicking off about 6:15. And is Ant still Nuno out? That's got to be the question on all your lips. Let's find out tonight and let's see what his thoughts are. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm still happy. Happy clapper. From everyone at FFTV, cheers. And we'll see you tonight on Grumpy Old Reds. Don't forget to like if you haven't already. We need 500 likes. You guys can do it. Subscribe to Forest Man TV if you are new. And we'll see you then. Come on, you Reds. Go check out the watch along highlights. I apologize in advance.